This true event took place in Charleston, South Carolina. It happened to my 6-year-old Jenna, who is very honest and doesn't make up stories. Kara, my 12-year-old daughter, was disappointed because the ghost tours were booked up and some didn't run on Sundays and Mondays. Well, on Monday, June 25th, 2007, we found a place that just opened up to see if we could find her a book on the ghosts of Charleston. This place, Charleston Legends, was only open for about a month. There was a young lady tending the place and mentioned if we were interested, they had a show every hour that lasted 25 minutes on the ghosts of Charleston. Kara just had to see this, so we did. Before we went in, we stood there talking with this young lady. She said she and her husband have been interested in ghosts for 16 years, but I don't think she's ever seen one. This lady said that one evening, she heard a noise in the back room. She knew no one else was there, so went back that way. She reminded us that there was no air conditioning ducts back there that could cause a noise or draft. She was looking back the hallway and saw the one door slowly open. She didn't think much of it and thought it was possibly the air conditioning duct in the front room that caused it to somehow open. Then, the door began to close. She said she took off to the front room and forgot about what she had just seen. She said that the lady who places the paper towels out each night in the bathroom said that each morning when she comes in, the towels have moved. That makes you think. Since I witnessed a ghost, I don't doubt either one of these ladies. I'm still not to the point I really wanted to share with you. We went into the room to see the show. It was a very nice room, fixed up and decorated like an old Charleston home. It had windows, curtains, a fireplace, rocking chair, old furniture, and old desk, lamps, etc. We sat on a bench in the center of the room. The show started. A young man behind a screen appeared as other people did and told their tales, and then vanished into the room as a beam of light. Things in the room moved too. Little Jenna was so afraid that she covered up her head with her arms and would rarely sneak a peek. My wife kept nudging me to show me how Jenna was covering up her eyes and wouldn't look. We sat through about 20 minutes of the show, and then Jenna began to cry. My wife took her from the room as Kara and I stayed for the end of the show. When we got outside, we asked Jenna what scared her so much. She said the little boy. We said, "What little boy? Where did you see a little boy?" She said right above her head. Jenna took her hand and showed the little boy was only an arm's reach from her head. She said he kind of looked like a clown, but wasn't a clown. He smiled like a clown, but more of a scary smile than a happy smile. His face was covered with blood. Some smeared and some running. This was not seen by us and was not a part of the show. She said the little boy was about 7 years old with short brown hair. She couldn't see his body because he was leaning out over her from behind, and his face was looking at her upside down in front of her. Actually, between her and Kara, she said. She said she saw the little boy for about 8 seconds and then covered up her eyes. When she looked up again, the boy was gone. This is when she began to cry. 20 minutes into the show. She said she felt like hitting him but was too frightened. We asked her if she thought that her mommy, daddy, and sister could see the boy. She said she didn't think that. She actually didn't give it any thought. This was so weird. You know, if a 6-year-old is frightened of the show, she would say she was frightened when the rocking chair moved, or the lamp moved, or when she heard a big noise or witnessed something that we saw too. She actually saw something so different, and I believe her. I told her to remember what she saw, and when we got home, I wanted her to draw me a picture. She said, "Daddy, when something bad happens to me, I never forget and will always remember it." She did draw something that looks like a clown face with a big smile and covered with blood. I think she saw a ghost. To those not believing in ghosts, you'll doubt this. I was never one to believe in ghosts until I saw one. No doubt now. We spoke with Jenna. After leaving the store, we went back to tell the young lady. She said that she would pass it on to others that work there and also speak with someone that knows and studies a lot about the ghost scene and report it in Charleston to see if a young boy about 7 years old with a face covered in blood means anything. This may be a start of many sightings at this place. Jenna is not one to lie or tell stories. She was actually frightened by this young boy that we did not see. This is a drawing that my 6-year-old daughter drew of the ghost she encountered in Charleston. While living in the state of Maine, my 2 sons and I headed up the road to look in an old apple orchard to shoot a deer. Outside the orchard was an old stone home. Across from it was a fallen down barn. The boys and I walked over the old barn. There was some snow on the ground, not a whole lot. As we got directly across from the driveway of the house, we could see the trees out back. Behind the trees was a large pond. Something caught my eye in the side window of the house. It was a large woman in an apron, leaning on the table there and smiling at us. I told the boys we should go and ask her if it was all right to cut through her yard to go behind and into the orchard. We walked across the street and knocked on the door, noticing immediately that there was no furniture in the house. I walked around to the side window. There was an old table there in front of the window, all dusty with no hand marks where the woman had been leaning. Also, no footprints around the house in the snow. We saw her for quite some time before crossing the dirt road. She was there, but not a real person at all. She was a real ghost. We later learned that the house was empty because of this woman who had haunted it for many years. The house has been torn down. No one could ever live in it. It was in Fryeburg, Maine. There was a very, very haunted house near Brickton, Maine, about 8 miles from this one. The owner offered $100 to anyone who could spend the night in it. No one ever did while I lived up there. Strange, but true.